Hey, what up? This is Sloppy here for Banished Hard Mode. I'm going to start up a new game session of Banished. Banished is a city building game slash survival game. It's very challenging, especially in hard mode. It's a fine line between having an aesthetic city that looks good and is functional enough to actually grow and prosper. And in some cases, I mean, if it's not designed effectively, it could just lead to utter failure. Everyone can die, or you'll have some serious issues that come up. So, hard mode is limited in what you can do for food, mostly. You don't have the option of building farms or pastures or orchards. Really, the main food sources in the other modes, you're really looking at scavenging off the land, fishing, hunting, and just gathering. So, first step in this, even before I set up housing for my citizens, is to get a fishing dock set up. I need to get food as soon as possible. You do start off with a little bit of food, but really not enough to sustain more than just a couple seasons. So, first thing, get the fishing dock up, start gathering some resources, and kind of go from there. I like to set up on the top left corner just the general information about what my resources are, what my population is at, and the top right corner is the event log, and that's just to let me know if the more important things that occur, if a new child is born or a child is grown up to be an actual worker or adult citizen. Those are key things that can really play in later on. So it's going to be a little while before I actually start getting to the point of making houses. I need to get enough resources to to even start thinking about building. I'm looking for areas that have wood and stone, and I'm just going to have my workers gather all that's in that area. Alright, you can see they're starting to clear out quite a bit of area here. Starting to get a little bit of a surplus on some of the materials, so it's about time that I start looking at setting up some homes. I've got the fishing dock. One thing I like to do is I like to try to get a couple houses by each of the areas, so the workers have a less of a commute. So I'm going to be setting up houses here right near the fishing dock. I don't need to have a ton there, but I'm going to have a full 4 workers at the fish dock, so I'm going to need to have 2 houses at a minimum next to that, as close as possible. Then from there, I'm going to kind of look around, see what my landscape is. Kind of start getting a mental image of how I want to develop the city, where I want to kind of work towards, what what can be advantageous for me down the road. So I think right now I'm just going to stick to this immediate area, get some housing right in this spot. Try to get something that doesn't look too bad, but also is very functional. Alright, fishing dock's done. Let's get the workers assigned. Great. Fishing is not a great source of food, but it will be enough to sustain for a while. Uh, General rule of thumb that I use on fishing is about 1 fisherman feeds 2 people. So you really can't do a ton with it, but it is a plus operation. You're by having one, you're feeding two, so it does help. Roads are pretty important. Roads not only kind of make your city look good and kind of connect it to the other areas, but also increases the speed at which the workers walk. So this can really make it more efficient, as well as it just looks better when it has roads. Alright, we'll get another house up here. I don't like to make my areas too compact. There really is plenty of area to build on the map. I've never really got to a point where I've utilized all of the area, so I'm not worried about not having room down the road. Alright, I'm going to build a couple houses up in this area. I think the two houses here would be good for the four fishermen. That should balance those out pretty well, and I'm going to start working on some other functional buildings kind of north from there, and I'll have a couple houses up in that area so they're close to where they're at as well. If you're new to Banished, this is kind of more of an advanced kind of look at Banished as it is the hard mode. I like hard mode because it's more of a challenge. I feel like a little less like I'm playing like a Farmville type game, more of a survival game where everything that you do really counts. If you build the wrong thing in the wrong order, I mean, it's going to have a detriment effect to your whole population. So you have to be really careful about what you select. So I feel it's more strategic. It's not incredibly brutal. I mean, there is some flexibility in how to do it, but you do have to be very cognizant of your basic supplies, your food, everything. Eventually you can get seeds and farm animals, livestock, seeds for the plants and the trees, but it's incredibly difficult to get those, so don't count on that for a long time. You can eventually build a trading post that will allow for nomads or ships to come in. You can buy seeds off them. Generally, it's very expensive. You need to have a huge surplus ready at that point of other things to sell and trade. So just don't count on it. At least not. I mean, have that as a luxury later down the road. Do not think that's something that you're going to have anytime soon. I think it would be cool if they could implement some way to explore with have an explorer profession. Maybe go out and find those type of items, but that's not something that's in the game. I'm not sure if they're looking to expand in any of those avenues, but it's something I think would be pretty interesting. Alright, we got another house down here. I did put down a gatherer's post over up in that area. Gatherer's post is much like fishing. It's not great at food, but it will give you some extra food. Have a little bit of diversity in what kind of foods the citizens can eat. Gathering posts will get you roots, berries, mushrooms, some different things that kind of go along with the fish. I'm not positive how that plays into happiness. I like to think that having just one food constantly would make me unhappy, so having a little diversity there I think is good. Alright, we're starting to take shape here. I think my plan is I'm going to just keep building north up into the tree area up there, kind of loop around up to that lake that I saw earlier. I like the area that showed. I think that would be pretty good. I'm going to kind of work towards that. Maybe have another outpost slash fishing area up there so I can work towards trade eventually. That will take some time to get up there though. If you see anything that you think I could be doing better, any suggestions or tips, please put in the comments below. I'd love to hear it. I think this game's got some complexity to it, so very good chance that I'm missing something that I could be doing better. I also want to get a hunting lodge set up here pretty soon, but I haven't really seen a ton of deer running around, so I'm not super anxious to do that. I've got some other necessities that I think are more important at the moment. Between the fishing and the gathering, I should be able to about maintain my food levels. I don't expect a ton of child births to occur too soon. I think as I get more houses set up, there's more room for the childbirths to occur, but right now a lot of the teenage type workers that I have are staying in their parents' houses, and they're not as likely to kind of go through the whole birthing process. So, and that's fine for now. I think if I did make some more houses, it's just going to lead to starvation and death. So I'm just going to try and keep what I have, keep the starvation and death. Not a good thing. It will decrease the happiness of your civilization, and they're already not going to be all that happy with the limited amount of luxuries that they have. So I'm not going to go down that road quite yet. I'm going to try and get some more necessities set up here, and once we get the basics down, then we'll start adding in some more. You can see I'm just barely holding on with the food I've got right now, showing that the new houses, they're just going to basically be eating as stuff comes in, so you're not going to have any stockpile. By manning 2 gatherers and 4 fishermen, I should be able to start slowly itching up. If I can get a little bit more, maybe up to 200 to 400 excess food, then I can start looking at some other things. I'm also going to have to worry about firewood. Winter's coming here pretty soon. You can generally get by about 1 winter without firewood, and you shouldn't lose anybody, but if you keep that too long, you're going to start losing people. You're going to have sickness, death, just bad things happening to your citizens. So I'm going to go ahead and set up a place to start gathering firewood. Take a little while to get that all going. Also, blacksmith is going to become important very soon. Running out of tools is a horrible thing to have happen. I did play a game recently where I kind of ignored the whole blacksmith thing, just kind of see what would happen. Everyone's tools broke, their production went to just about nil, and it set my whole thing back big time. So you want to watch it. If it starts getting down to just a couple of tools, it really has got to be a priority. So next thing that I'm going to build is going to be a blacksmith. There's just trying to keep an eye out for what I want my layout. I think you want to have a place where you can have a forestry set up so you can plant and grow trees as well as chop those down, have an infinite source of trees and wood. Also, a place to set up a quarry and a mine, and the quarry and mine just to get your iron and stone. But I've got enough. I can just burn through the resources now to clear out the areas I want to build. Once that starts lowering, though, I'm going to have to really start looking at stuff that's more substantial. It's not going to be a finite resource. Alright, nice chunk of stone up here. I'm going to grab this. There's some wooden stone. I'm going to get low. Actually, I'm going to be really low on stone. Probably not enough for the blacksmith for some time. That's alright, but I've got it in the works, so. This game, you will have some lulls where you're just waiting for resources, waiting for certain things to kind of balance out. This is about the point here where I'm going to pretty much just be kind of in a holding pattern for a little bit. So I think I'm going to work towards that, like I said, up towards that lake. So I'm going to get a road going up that way. As they gather those resources, they can kind of make that trip back and forth a little bit quicker. Maybe even I'll set up a area to store materials up there as well. Alright, well, thank you for watching. I'm going to go ahead and in the commentary here, I'll leave the rest of this session. I'm going to try and do the sessions in one year cycles. So it should be about 20 minutes to 30 minutes. From here, I will pick back up at the second season or second year, and really shouldn't be any additional items built here, so this is just going to be a holding pattern for some time. I'll leave it on the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and thank you for watching.